Right, how are we doing? Today, we're going to talk about adding three different numbers. We've actually done a lot of this and you haven't realized it, but there are some things we can do to kind of make this a little bit easier. So, don't want to do that. Let's go to the next slide. There we go. So here I have three different numbers. We have 2 plus 4 plus 3. Now notice how they're all stacked real nice and neat. I don't have them real sloppy. And what I like to do, and we like to teach, is you can add any of these numbers in any order. It doesn't matter. There are some ways that some kids think that make it easier than others. Some of us might see 2 plus 3, and we know that immediately makes 5. We know 2 plus 3 equals 5. Now, I'm not done. 5 is not my final answer. I left that 4 out. So now I got to take my 5, add my 4 to it. I need to make that problem. So if you need to, you can write that out on the side. 5 plus 4. What is 5 plus 4? Well, 5 plus 4 is 9. So my answer, my final answer, is actually 9. Kind of sloppy when you look at it now, but hopefully that made sense. Let's look at another one. Here we have 7 plus 2 plus 3. So some of us might see, oh, they're the small numbers. Let's add those small numbers, 2 and 3. Actually, I want to do something different because I see something else. I know my 10 facts, and I know 7 plus 3 gives me 10. If you can get to the number 10, it's much easier because now I can add that 10 plus that 2. If I need to write that out, hopefully we don't need to do that one. We should know how to do that, but 10 plus 2 equals 12. Now let's back up a little bit. We'll stay on this problem. Take out all that color. And let's just add let's just do this one. The 7, the biggest number, and the smallest number. 7 plus 2 gives me 9. And then I need to use that 9 plus this number I haven't used yet, 9 plus 3. 9 plus 3. If I use my touch points, 9, 10, 11, 12, I still get the same answer. It's still 12. It's just another way of doing it. So there's lots of ways you can do it, but some are sometimes easier than others. Getting to the number 10 or the number 5 usually seems to be the easiest way for most kids. If it doesn't work for you, you can do it any other way. If you wanted to do the 2 plus the 3, that does get you to 5, which is an easy number. But what makes it kind of tricky here is now you got to add 7 plus 5. But if you add that up, you still will get 12. The answer is still 12. All the different ways we did it. Some ways are just easier than others. I like to try to get to the 10 if we can. Getting to 10 makes it easy. So what if we have a story? Check out our story here. It says Jax has 3 dogs. Chloe has 5 dogs. Owen has 5 dogs. How many do they have in all? Well, anytime we get a story, we should always find our info. So we underline the numbers. Even if you're having trouble reading, if you can find those numbers, you're probably going to be on the right path. I'm going to write these numbers down. 3, 5, 5. Which ones should I add first? I would say 5 plus 5. Those are easy to add, and they get me to a really nice big even number of 10. So then I can take my 10 plus the number I haven't used yet to get to 13. But what if you didn't do it that way? Well, let's just back up a few steps here. And let's do a different pattern. Let's do the 3 and the 5. Gives me 8. Now, well, let's use a different color. Now I can take that 8 plus the 5 I haven't used. And that will still get me to 13. I think getting to 10 is easier, but if this is the way you saw it first, there's nothing wrong with that. I do want you, if you're writing these problems out with home, with mom or dad, make these circles. Those circles will help you keep track of what you're doing. See how every time I've drawn that picture off to the side, man, does that help. If you try to do all this in your head at once, you might get lost. It is okay to draw these pictures. Let's do one more story problem. Jude has 4 cats. Raiden has 1 cat. Penelope has 2 cats. How many cats are there in all? Anyone catch my misspelling? I sure did. There we go. So, should have read over that. So we have 4, 1, 2. So let's write those down. 4, 1, 2. So which ones are we going to add first? Well, I see a 5 fact. 4 and 1. I know 4 and 1 is going to get me 5. And it's easy to add with 5. Then I can take my 5 plus my 2. 5 plus 2 gives me 7. What if you didn't see that one? Let's try a different way just to make sure we have the right. If you do it all 3 ways, there's 3 different ways you can do these. You should always get the same answer. Let's say I want to just start off easy. I want to add my easiest numbers first. Now I got to go and add that answer plus the other number I haven't used yet. 3 plus 4 still equals 7. Let's go ahead and try the other way since we're here, just to make sure we're doing our math right. Let's take our biggest number and our next biggest numbers. Maybe you like to get rid of the hard ones first. It gives you a 6. And then it's not hard adding with one more at the end. 6 plus one more still equals 7. So the answer every time was 7. That's adding with 3 numbers. Not very difficult. We can make harder problems. Let's do one hard one right off the cuff here. 8, 6, 2. Now, this you might see the 8 and the 2 and know a 10 fact. And then you can take your 10 plus your 6, write it out if you need to. 10 plus 6 gives us 16. Let's back up because there's another way that might make this, someone else might have saw this. They might say, man, I know 6 and 2 are going to give me 8. And then look, what do we have? 8 plus 8. We have a double. Doubles are easy to work with too. So if you saw that, great job. That's an ugly 6. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and try it the other way just to make sure. Let's do the biggest numbers first. Some kids like to challenge themselves. Let's go 8 plus 6. That's a tougher problem. That is 14. And then we got to add in the other number we haven't used yet. 14 plus 2 more. 14, 15, 16. There's our touch points on it. Every time the answer was 16. I think this was the hardest way. Sometimes kids like to challenge themselves, though. I think finding 10 was easy, but if you saw that double, great job. So that is just a quick way of how to add 3 numbers.